Hello, everyone, and welcome to Divorce Den. We are doing our first Friday Night Live to talk to you about the benefits of the Divorce Den blueprint, to speak to you about options, process options that you have when it comes to getting divorced in New York and honestly in every state in the United States, but specifically New York. I do have to start out by saying I'm an attorney. I am not your attorney. I am not acting as an attorney here. What I'm doing is opening a conversation to give you information and guidance on ways that you can set yourself up for success when you're getting divorced. Far too often, people are getting divorced and it's very costly, it's very emotionally draining, and it takes so much of their time. So, our focus is on helping you move forward in a way that is thoughtful, that is clear, and that is not going to drain you, whether it's financially or emotionally. So, let's talk about the general New York state divorce process. Generally, when you enter into a contested divorce, what happens is you get an attorney, your soon to be ex gets an attorney, and the attorneys start battling it out, right? There's really a rub as to what is it that you want, what is it that your ex wants, and how much time and money is your attorney going to spend fighting for what it is that you want. As opposed to if you were to think about it in a different mind frame from what's your interest? What is it that you want? What is it that you need? What makes sense for your future? What is it that your children need, as opposed to that position, digging your heels in and saying, this is what I am entitled to. So if you're thinking about what your future might look like, digging your heels in and saying what you're entitled to is not necessarily going to serve you. I know that is not a popular answer. That is not part of the popular culture, whether it's social media or TV and things that we have been fed as a society, is that we have to battle. This person who we loved at one time, who we had a family with, who we committed our life to, now they're our enemy. Now we have to fight them. As opposed to now things are not working out anymore. We're now no longer going to live together. We're not going to be in a committed relationship anymore. Let's shift the way we are approaching this. Let's change our narrative and change our future. So I encourage you to start thinking about the latter. Start thinking about ways that you can make your best future without treating your soon to be ex as your enemy, because they're not. So let me talk to you a little bit about why Divorce Den created the Divorce Den blueprint. The blueprint is designed to help New Yorkers file all of the documents with the court. It is not a completely comprehensive program. So I want to be very clear about not everyone will qualify for the Divorce Den blueprint. However, those who do qualify can have a very streamlined, very cost effective process if you have that latter mindset that I was talking about before. The mindset of we're going to work our butts off and we are going to try to stay future focused instead of fighting, instead of blaming, instead of living in the past. We are going to do everything we can to look to the future, to be future focused, and to make sure that we are committing to getting everything written down on paper and then being able to move forward. Using the Divorce Den blueprint is going to allow you to get the documents prepared and filed with the court. However, steps that need to be taken before that is you have to agree to what's going to be included in the documentation, including in a stipulation of settlement, which is the legal document, especially if you have children. I just want to make that very clear that there are certain things that maybe you can give up, maybe you can waive, maybe you can say you can keep the house. I don't care if it's worth $1 million, I'll walk away with zero. Retirement accounts, a lot of different things that you can agree to, walk away from, take more of. However, when it comes to the children, you want to make sure it's very thoughtful and you are being very careful and deliberate about that. So one of the things that I want to mention is if before you get to that point where you are ready to go forward with Divorce Den blueprint and get the paperwork ready, you do need additional support. What if you need help with coming up with that parenting plan for your children? What if you need help with, I don't know how to figure out the child support? How are we going to do that? Divorce Den has a list of trusted partners, and those partners are going to be there to give you either mediation. They are going to be there to talk to you about the finances, to talk to you about retirement plans. There are also going to be review attorneys who, once everything is agreed upon, put in that stipulation of settlement, that legal document, you can then go to a review attorney and have them speak to you about the actual agreement, review it with you, and then give you legal counsel as to what does this actually mean so that you fully understand the terms. because you should never really sign something without, number one, fully understanding the terms, and number two, fully agreeing to those terms. So again, you have the opportunity to have all of these outside resources. And then once you have the agreement, then you can come to Divorce Den and file it with the court. Very limited in its scope as far as you never have to go to court, right? So you're going to have to do everything online. You're never going to have to step foot inside the courthouse, and you're going to have to either do everything online with us and then print it and take it to the county clerk's office to file it, or do it electronically. You will have all of those instructions, including videos, including written instructions, and including all of the documents that will be needed. Again, I have to be clear that not everyone will qualify for this program. That's why it's very important that the first thing that you do is take the assessment. So what I want to do now is just share with you the assessment form and what it looks like. And once you go to Divorce Den Blueprint, once you go to divorceden.com, you will come up and see the homepage, and you can click on Divorce Den Blueprint, and it's going to take you to the assessment page. So you want to make sure that you're being very thoughtful about, I'm going to share this here. You're being very thoughtful about the answers that you're giving. And once you do give the answers and you submit it, we will be able to review it and let you know if you qualify for one of the 4 levels. If you do, we will set up a call with you, an intake call, so this way we can talk you through exactly what steps have to be taken in order for you to move forward. Do you need that additional support? We'll make sure that you have the trusted partner that is going to work best for you, and then you work with them separately. And then you come back and you can complete the entire program through New York State. So this is the Divorce Den Blueprint website. I encourage you to go and check it out. There are the 4 levels here. And again, the 4 levels are here for the sole purpose of you fitting into one of these boxes. Now, again, level 1, it's for kids with, it's for couples without kids, without any children. So if you know that you have children, you have to add support, you will not qualify for level 1. You will not qualify for it. That's just a given. If you have a retirement plan, it's very clear. Level 4 is the only level that is going to work for you. So again, once you take the assessment, you will see how everything works, but the different levels are for the different needs, the different support levels that each person needs, that each couple needs. So that's why it's designed the way it is. That's why we have the initial intake call with you as well, to ensure that you are fit into the right category, into the right level. Because sometimes when you take an assessment form, it might not necessarily be, it might not necessarily have the nuanced approach that we can have when we have the intake call with you. So those are the 4 levels. Then once you look at it and you decide, you know what, yeah, I think that this might work for us, then you can start your assessment. Once you start your assessment, it's pretty simple. It talks you through it very, very basically. It's going to tell you about the assessment, and it's going to tell you the next steps. At the bottom of each page, it's going to tell you next. You're going to start with residency requirements. In order to get divorced in New York, there are certain residency requirements. You have to meet one of them, right? So if, let's just say that you lived here for 2 years. So if you have 2-year residency, then you can move forward. And then again, you're going to answer all of the questions on each of the pages, and there are a lot of them. They're pretty simple. If you don't have children, then you skip that section. If you do have children, you're going to complete all of the questions there, and then you're going to proceed to the next page, and so on and so on, until finally at the end you hit submit. Once you submit and we receive the documentation, then what happens is we set up an intake call with you if you qualify. If we look at your assessment form and we know that you will not qualify, we never want to waste anyone's time or money. So we will let you know that we've reviewed your assessment form and that you don't qualify, which is fine. It's not for everyone. You should always have the option to continue in the traditional model, to find an attorney in your area, to pursue full-blown mediation, to pursue a collaborative divorce team and proceed with a collaborative divorce. Or if you think that you need litigation, you can go that way. Again, this is not going to be for everyone. So I encourage everyone to go to divorceden.com, check out the website. There are a lot of free downloadable forms as well. We encourage you to be as educated as possible. We never want anyone to feel like they are walking into divorce or separation blind. We want you to have all of the information. You can give up whatever you want. You can agree to whatever you want. All of that is fine as long as you know. Go in with your eyes open and know what it is that you are agreeing to. So if there's ever a time where you are part of the program, part of the Divorce Den blueprint, and you're not really sure, you're maybe a little bit confused about something, again, we always want you to reach out to our trusted partner network and make sure that you are finding the professional who is right for you to give you that clarity, to make sure that you have all of your questions answered, to make sure that you fully understand the agreement, like with the review attorneys, or make sure that you have just the right documents that you need for the retirement plan. So all of this is very important so that you go into this with your eyes open. However, just understand, just like I said at the beginning, Divorce Den is not a law firm. You will never get legal advice from us. What we will do is give you resources where you can get legal advice, but we cannot do that for you. We can give you guidance on the documentation that has to be filed with the court so that you can be legally divorced. That is our goal. Our goal is to streamline that process as much as possible, make it affordable, make it accessible, and make it easy, which is why it's virtual. So that's our goal. So then the second part of what I wanted to talk about is, again, without being a law firm and without giving any legal advice, through Divorce Den, you can also, and this is a new program that's going to be launched probably within the next few weeks. But what we want to do is provide you with guidance as far as getting divorced. So the Divorce Den doula is going to give you legal legal support, is going to give you divorce support without legal guidance. So the goal is to ensure that you have the support that you need, again, any additional resources, and to give you realistic expectations as to, are you in a litigated divorce? What is it that you can expect if you're going to court? What is it that is going to help you expedite certain things if you are in court? Or maybe even if you're in the collaborative model or mediation, what's going to help you move forward? So while it's not a certified divorce coach program, it is just like having a divorce BFF. Having somebody who has a lot of experience in the courtroom be there by your side, who is not necessarily going to be giving you legal counsel at all, but is going to be holding your hand and is going to be able to talk you through the documents. What do they mean? What's the timelines based on the documentation that you have? Even if you have an attorney, which is fine, this is not acting in conflict with your attorney. This is designed to help give you all of the support that you need. So what I want to talk to you about is three of the ways that the Divorce Den doula program can help. It's going to provide you with practical support. Again, very real life practical support, helping you get organized. Being organized when you're getting divorced is so crucial. It's going to save you so much time and money. But honestly, even more than that, it's going to save you emotionally. It is overwhelming. Sometimes when you go into court, the documents that you need, the things that are being asked of you, are overwhelming. And not only are they overwhelming, it's very confusing the way it's asked. The legalese that's thrown around in the courtroom is understood by the judges, understood by the attorneys. It is almost never understood by the people who are getting divorced. I don't know what that means. What do you mean statement of net worth? What do you mean there's a deposition? What do you mean by all of this legal jargon that is being thrown around? So having the organization and having somebody there to talk you through it is really, really going to save you so much time and money. Educate you again about the process from a general perspective. Step one, step two, right? Your first court appearance, what to expect. Your second one, maybe what to expect. Your attorney should also be doing that with you as well. However, sometimes behind the scenes, having a divorce doula, your divorce BFF, to be able to talk you through that in a way that your attorney might not be able to, and in a way that will not charge the same way that your attorney does. Attorneys are expensive, right? It costs a lot of time for them to prepare, for them to have their education, for them to build up that skill set. So they charge accordingly. That's a lot of money. So having a divorce doula, your divorce BFF, is going to be much more cost effective when it comes to that. They can help you clarify goals and your priorities and your boundaries. Helping clarify what it is that you want or you need for the future really is so important. It's actually vital when it comes to getting divorced. Because if you go in there just thinking, I'm just going to follow the lead that my attorney gives me, your attorney is only thinking of it from the legal perspective. This is what my client's legally entitled to, and that's what we are going to fight for tooth and nail. That's not necessarily what's going to serve you best. Never mind about the money, because it will cost you a lot of money. That's just the truth. But maybe that's not the hill you want to die on. Maybe that's not the end goal for you. Your end goal might be something very different than that legal parameter. So helping you clarify those goals and getting very clear about what you're willing to give on, what you're not, the direction you want to go, that can be really invaluable. We can help you prepare for meetings, again, whether it's in a litigated matter or whether it is in mediation, maybe even self-representation. Getting an attorney costs a lot of money. I know a lot of people who have chosen to go self-represented, so we can help you with that too. We can also help you set up an accountability plan, an action plan for yourself. So this way, week 1, this is what I need to get done. Week 2, this is what I need to get done. And then we can have discussions about it and we can hold you accountable so that okay, by Friday, I have to have this done. And it's a good way to keep you on track, not to hold your feet to the fire just for the sake of it, but really to help you move your matter forward so you're not wasting time and money. It can also help you with emotional support, not therapy, but emotional support. We can hold space for venting and just commonplace moaning and groaning, especially when it comes to things that happen inside the court, right? Deep emotional work that has to be done with a therapist. The divorce den doula is not a therapist. However, there are times when we just have to have a moan and groan session, and that's okay. That sometimes when you're able to do that, that just helps you be a little bit freer. Unloading that from your chest is like, okay, now I can move forward. That's okay. We can help you regulate your expectations as to your interactions with your co-parent, your soon-to-be ex, and sometimes even with the court personnel, because you think that going into court, it's going to be, wow, I'm going to have my story told, and then we're going to move forward, even if it's going to be contentious, even if there's going to be arguments. The court personnel are, in my experience, generally not that helpful. So sometimes when you leave there, you feel frustrated, hurt, angry, really, really diminished, not necessarily just by your ex or their attorney, but also by the court personnel, judges included. So these are things that we can talk about and we can give you support with, including giving you some techniques like reflective listening, talking about meditation, talking about ways that you can start to self-regulate in order to face challenges like being in court. And being in court's a big challenge. I'm not going to lie, it really is. We can also give you strategic guidance. We can help you understand the difference between court-based and non-court-based divorces and what the nuances are with those non-court-based process options, because there are many and not all of them will be the right fit for you. However, I believe that most cases, nearly all of them, really can be resolved outside of court. If you have the right support, you have the right team, and you have the right approach, you do not have to be in court. You don't have to waste the time and the money, and you don't have to be hating each other. You really can be moving forward in a way that's meaningful without ever involving the court. So what we can't do, I just want to be very clear, what the divorce doula program cannot do. We just want to be very clear about no legal representation. I know I said that several times. I just have to repeat it. We're not going to act as an attorney for you. We can tell you in our experience, this is what we've seen. We're not going to tell you, oh, legally, this is what we're going to advise you to do. That's not going to happen. We're not going to give any case-specific legal advice. We're not going to draft legal documents for you. That's not going to happen. We can certainly write up plans for you to go forward, right, for your best future, those kind of things. But you're going to be writing it. We would give you that support. We're not going to be doing that for you. Again, we're not therapists. I'm not going to be diagnosing anyone. I'm not going to be taking a deep dive into emotional trauma, those kind of things. However, if you need resources for someone who can do that, we would certainly give you our best resources, because your emotional well-being is really the most important thing. And we're not going to, again, help you with any type of trauma-informed processing, anything that happened in your childhood, those kind of things. We will give you the right resources for that. And we're not a substitute for legal advice or therapy or medical care, those kind of things. So how it works is generally we're going to have different types of structures. So what we're going to do is we're going to have one-on-one, or we're going to have group sessions. So when we have group sessions, what we will do is we will have individual sessions as well, but generally we will meet as a group and we will be talking about all of the guidelines for general, right? For general divorces, right? How divorce generally works. And then you will have the individual meetings with the divorce doula. And this is going to be a 6-week program that's going to, again, give you information, give you documentation, and give you the resources that you need to create your best future. Then you can also have just an individual coaching session with the divorce doula. Again, that will be a 6-week program, but where you will meet the divorce doula on your own each week. So obviously, these are different levels of support. Sometimes you do need more support where it's just one-on-one, and sometimes you might work better in a group environment. Having the ability to have other people who are going through what it is that you're going through, and maybe you can talk through it, maybe you can bond over it, maybe you can form your own support group with it, that might be meaningful to you as well. But again, this is going to launch in the next few weeks. So look out on the website for divorceden.com and look out for the Divorce Doula program. So I see that there's a question here. Can I work with the divorce doula and my attorney? So absolutely. The beauty of the divorce doula, again, the divorce den doula, is that the doula is there to be support to you, to be sort of like your divorce BFF. Not the person, though, at the hairdresser, at the hair salon. Not the hairdresser who's just giving you advice about, my neighbor got X, Y, and Z when they got divorced. You know that you can ask for more, or trying to stir the pot, or trying to give you gossip, or trying to tell you how things should go. Absolutely not. This is very strategic. This is very thoughtful. And this is really very forward focused, helping you think about what are going to be your best next steps and ways that this process might work for you. This process might not. Maybe thinking about how to pivot, how to change. Maybe mediation is not working for you. Maybe collaborative divorce might work for you. So speaking to you in a way that is very future focused and very much from a place of experience. As an attorney, as a mediator, as a collaborative professional, as someone who has seen the back end of the courthouses, who has worked in intimate partner violence courtrooms. So really just giving you a fuller picture on how you can start to create your best future without giving you legal advice. So can you work with the divorce den doula and your attorney? Absolutely. And I actually suggest that because it can save you a lot of money in legal fees. Because again, you don't have to use your attorney as your therapist or your coach or someone who you can go and vent to, because while you can do those things, it's going to cost you a lot of money. And your attorney isn't necessarily going to be skilled in that area, isn't necessarily going to be comfortable in that area. So using all of the resources that you can, I think, is so important. Not just financial resources, not just mental health resources, but every type of support that you can get when you're getting divorced is really, really vital. That's what's going to help you create your best future. That's what's going to help you be there for your children so they can create their best future. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today on the live. And if you have any additional questions, please reach out through Divorce Den. Please reach out to us and ask us any questions. Please give us any feedback as well. If you take the assessment and you think that, you know what, I have this other unique situation that is not listed on there, and maybe that's something that we overlooked. We welcome feedback. Nothing is perfect. No program is perfect. No divorce is perfect. So again, please, if you're thinking about getting divorced, please know that you can save a tremendous amount. I mean, literally tens of thousands of dollars, a tremendous amount of money if you stay out of court. If you choose to resolve all of your issues and then go through the divorce den blueprint for the paperwork. The paperwork should be the easiest part. However, it really can be very, very costly if you're doing it through your attorney. And again, I'm not saying that that's not justified. Attorneys cost a lot of money because they have a lot of education, a lot of skill. It's a very expensive trait. Understood. And they deserve that money. What I'm saying is the paperwork should be the last part. That's the easiest part. That's the part that you should be able to do on your own. And again, if you cannot and you cannot qualify for Divorce Den Blueprint, you always have the other option to hire an attorney to help you do it. But our goal is to help you streamline it. So please take the Divorce Den assessment. take the Divorce Den Blueprint assessment if you are thinking about getting divorced in New York. See if you qualify for one of the 4 levels, and then have the initial consultation with our admin and see if you can fit into one of those 4 levels. And if you can, that's great. And if you can't, that's okay too. So thank you everyone for joining us. Again, if you have any questions, if there's any suggestions that you have for additional lives, we intend to go live more regularly, and we would love to hear any questions that you have regarding divorce, specifically in New York, but we will certainly answer questions from all over the United States very generally. Anytime we do this, we will always continue to give the disclaimer, we are not your attorney. You listening, us having a conversation, having a banter back and forth, that does not create an attorney-client relationship. But what it does do is open the door for you to have more opportunities to learn about different process options and ways that you can create a great future for yourself and for your family during and after divorce. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us. We will see you next time.